3 ranked games, all of which are Anivia, so this very well may be one of the first ranked games. It may very well be a normal game. It is hard to tell. So first thing about, we can already tell that this is not the highest level of game. It's probably a lower level game, lower elo game, because we see that Oriana has clarity, which you will never see past like 1300 elo ever, because it's a really, really bad summoner spell. The reason why it's a bad summoner spell is you don't need it if you're controlling your mana properly. You just don't need clarity, and so it's just a waste of a summoner spell, because you could take something like Ignite, which makes you stronger and picks up kills or anything like that. So look at this, they're being tricky, and they're sending they're gonna send 2 top. Oh, they don't have a jungler, that's why. So that's another very good clue that there's a low elo game. Your team doesn't have a jungle, so so I guess it's a good time to talk about the jungler and why it's really important to have a jungle on your team. So one way to view League of Legends is as a game about resource control, because almost every time the team that controls the resources better and therefore has more global gold is the team that wins. And if you don't have a jungle, like all these minions in the lanes, these are minions that are sitting here and just wasting, like, the golden experience of these minions is being wasted to your team. So if you have a jungle, you're taking advantage of these all this gold that would otherwise be wasted. The other reason is that it gives you effectively 3 solo lanes worth of farm, which since some champions scale with farm much better than others, is just a really optimal distribution of your gold. And it also gives you a roaming champion that's able to support lanes and help win other lanes. So the first thing I want to comment on about Moosenheim's game is that he started a Doran's Ring, which is a really risky start. So you can't regen any of this harass that Oriana has given you. And if Udyr ganks you and gets some damage on you, then you're not going to be able to regen any of that. You've done a really good job of landing your stuns so far, but still, really just, like, you can't regen any of this damage. So good job picking up that kill, and you're probably not even going to die while egged here. Actually, Oriana passive doing big damage. It's a very good double kill, and now you have blue buff, so you're in a really good position to really control this lane now, because Anivia with blue buff is a very scary thing. But so like I was saying with the Doran's Ring start, the thing about Doran's is it makes you really strong if you fight. Like, Doran's is hands down the most stat efficient item for the cost. The problem is it doesn't build on anything, so they're really strong early game. So it was silly of them to fight you. Like, in Anivia with Doran's is like really strong and really scary. So you're gonna have to back though, and this is the problem with Doran's, is you have no sustain. So he did almost like one-shot Oriana though, which is pretty funny. And this is a mistake by Oriana. She didn't come back in the lane with any potions. We see in the top left that okay, and you kill her again. So I was really bad with this Oriana. Not only did she not come to the lane with any potions, but she just like let you stun and kill her, even though you had 100 HP. So you're in like a really good position to just carry this game. It's been 5 minutes and you have 3 kills and blue buff. So like, there is no reason that you shouldn't just absolutely carry this game right now. You have high CS in the game, 3 kills, blue buff. You guys are, like, you are good to carry this game. But like, I do want to comment on your play, because it's not smart play against good players. Like, starting Doran's is not good, especially against an Oriana, because a good Oriana is just going to be able to harass you without getting hit by you. Like, good Oriana should never get hit by your stun, and is just going to be able to like hit you with Qs without you getting hit. And starting Doran's is a huge mistake against that, because starting Doran's gives you no HP regen. So if you get hit by those Qs, like, you can't regen that back, and Oriana would just be able to poke you out of lane. But because the new team's like playing really bad and made huge mistakes that gave you like a double kill, that it paid off to start Doran's. But in general, I'd say don't do that. Start either boots, like boots 3 potions is always a solid start for anyone. You can even get away with starting like mana crystal 2 potions on Anivia to try to get like an early catalyst, because catalyst is really a good item on Anivia. Anivia is very like mana dependent, and I don't like going tier first on any champion because it makes you very squishy. It doesn't increase your damage unless you rise, then it will. And all it does is give you like mana regen, which doesn't make you stronger, and it's really easy to like get bullied out of lane if you start a tier first. So Kata first is a really good alternative. Yeah, and so you're so far ahead of this Orianna, you can almost one-shot her. So what you should be doing now is you should be looking at trying to take this advantage that you have in lane and creating advantages in other lanes. So you should be looking at roaming. Like this Orianna is going to be worth less and less gold every time you kill her. So you should really start looking at roaming around to other lanes, like roaming bot for a possible double kill. And I talked about this in my last, but something that you can do that's really easy is you can push your lane to your turret and then walk this way down through the tri-bush and get bottom. And it's really effective, and they're not warding because it's a very low level game, but at higher level games, well, Udyr has a ward. At higher level games, like, they'll always have dragon warded, so you can't just walk down river, but you can walk this way and be sneaky. And this bush only gets warded on blue side in higher level games. So, and here you go. Now you took your blue buff, and now you're gonna go gank. So one thing, you bought an elixir. You really don't need to buy that elixir. Like, you're so far ahead right now. There's like literally no reason to get that elixir. Yeah, like, I think that elixir's a waste. I think that you could be doing just as well if you just didn't get that elixir and you went to waste the 250 gold. So, like, I mean, it could be said that with that elixir, you're taking your advantage and you're creating a bigger advantage, like, because it gives really good stats for the cost. But at the end of the game, like, you're so far ahead you don't need it, and it's just kind of a waste of money at this point. Yeah, your ER almost one-shots Orianna. That's how far ahead you are, which is hilarious. So now you're just being a big bully. One thing you could have done is, like, you could have just gotten some health potions. It just would have helped you stay healthy, so you could be an even bigger bully. So good flash there, and a good way to wall off the Udyr. Yeah, you're so far ahead, it's ridiculous. Udyr has a really tough time against Anivia. Anivia is very good against melee champions. So. You're 7-0 at 10 minutes, so like this game is pretty much over. Unless you start making some like serious mistakes, I'm not really sure why you wanted me to review this replay. Because, I mean, there's really not much, like, for me to say. It's like, oh, look, you killed someone. Oh, look, you killed someone again. You're 8-0, you press buttons and kill someone. So, I mean, you played pretty well, but mostly your opponents were just really bad. Yeah, I don't really know much to say in this game, because, like, it's just very strong right now. Unless, like, the enemy team is just doing really well elsewhere, and they end up, like, carrying their team. I don't know. So yeah, Magi's isn't a bad idea to get. Like, you don't need this blue elixir again. Like, this is just a waste. You're just throwing money down the drain because, like, you have the money to waste, but I mean, really, you don't need to get blue elixirs. You're so far ahead without them. Don't worry about it. So don't get like, you're taking a lot of damage that you don't need to be taking right here. And I mean, I realize that you have such an advantage. Like, if you stun Orianna, you're gonna kill her. But still, Like, you just got egged for no reason. You're fortunate that you got out of turret range before the egg came. And Oriana's very silly to be trying to kill you there. You might... Yeah. Okay, good wall. Yeah, you're not gonna die here. You're just gonna kill Udyr. Alright, so you got out. Like, if you didn't get the elixirs, you'd have 500 more gold. You could get your boots too, or your blasting wall. Yeah, like, you're so far ahead right now, you're able to do really stupid things and get away with it, like taking like 3 turret hits for no reason, like walking into Udyr ganks. All of those are just like, they're really bad decisions that you're getting away with because you're really far ahead. So I don't really have a whole lot to say. The only thing is, like, don't waste money on elixirs when you're this far ahead. Like, there's no reason to. You've wasted 500 gold you didn't need to waste. Like, all the kills you've gotten, you would have gotten without the elixir. You don't need it. It's a waste. Like, 500 more gold. Like I said, you could have boots too. So, okay, this is the gank path that I've been talking about, like in that last game. You go all the way around, and they're not going to see it if they have Dragon Warded, and by the time they see you come here, like, they can't do anything. Like, there's nowhere that they can go. So you miss your stun and your wall, so that was a mistake there. You're still gonna pick up those kill. And it's like I was saying, like, you're so far ahead you can make mistakes and it doesn't matter. Like, missing that stun on the wall, they should get out, but you're so far ahead it really just does not matter. So we'll talk a little bit just about Anivia in general and like her strengths. When Anivia gets ahead, as you can see, like she does a lot of damage, like an impressive amount of damage. The other thing is that Anivia is really good against melee champions, as you've seen in this game. Like Udyr has a really hard time at sticking on Anivia because it's really easy to stun melee champions if they get on her. It's like a free stun, and then once they're stunned and you create some distance, you just wall them off, and then they can't get to you. And then if they get around the wall, you just play your ultimate and it slows them. Like, you're probably just gonna be able to, oh, okay, never mind, you got out. I was gonna say, you probably could have just killed that Udyr. Getting out is a safe play since Caitlyn was also there. Yeah, the other thing is, like, you should be buying boots too by now. Anivia is one of the slowest champions in the game, and boots really helps fix that. Looks like you're running MS cleanse, or like masteries that give you move speed, probably in the utility tree, but you bought another elixir. That's 750 gold on elixirs you don't need to spend. Like, that's Sork shoes that you've spent for no reason. No. Don't do that. Like, if you had boots too, you would have caught these people. But Caitlyn has 0 boots. So I think I'm probably just going to start fast forwarding through this replay. I know I generally don't fast forward through replays because it messes with the cooldown timers, and I think that's something that's really important to talk about, is managing cooldowns. But like this, there's really not much I can say in this replay. Like, I'm still not sure why you submitted this to me. Like, you're so far ahead. This is just a stomp. Like, you're just getting away with really dumb things because you're just that far ahead that you can. So I think I'm just going to start fast forwarding through this one. And like, you're so far ahead now, your team's winning elsewhere.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
That was probably unnecessary risk. So this is like the stupid things I've been talking about that you get away with because you're so fed. Like if you weren't so fed, like you wouldn't have even killed that Caitlyn, and then you would have died. But you died anyway and lost some stacks. That was poor mana management exactly. You were out of mana, so. Okay, well I missed that kill, but I think we have a pretty good idea what happened, considering it was a 3-on-1 gank on a Kali, but yeah. So, you land a really strong wall right here, like you could have walled that game click off, I feel, but you just missed that wall. I'm just gonna fast forward through this game. I'm having a hard time imagining them losing this with Anivia so fed. So the rest of this team is definitely like not doing so hot. There's a bit Caitlyn, but when Anivia is this strong, she just two-shots everyone. And you still don't have boots too. Like I feel like you could have picked up some extra kills if you had boots too, just because of the move speed. They're super afraid of you. Wow, that was weird. Anivia. I thought you landed that wall, but I guess it was just like on top of her, so she was able to walk through it. It was very odd. So you're just chilling in your egg farm, you're genning some mana. And now you have double buff. Once again, we see Anivia being really strong against melee champions. This leader like can't even get to her. I think that was a little bit of mismanagement. I think if you sent your E first to then Ard, you would have been able to drop the E and get the R off. To get the bonus damage on the E. The tier is coming late. You probably like I don't know. Tier is good on Anivia, but it takes a lot to charge up, and like at this point in the game, you might as well not even get tier. Especially because you're stomping this bad. Like, well, I guess the game goes on for quite a while longer, but I want to assume that the game's going to go on for much longer because you're so strong. So I think tier is a mistake to build in this game. Like I understand you need the mana, but even if you need the mana. At this point in the game, you're probably not going to charge it up very much, but we'll see how much you do end up charging it. So while you have blue buff, you should be really aggressive, push really hard, which is what you're doing. I think a teammate took that bullet for you, so good guy teammates. I've never gotten a hex tech revolver. Excuse me, on Anivia, but it's something that you should consider in this game because you're so far ahead. You're doing so much damage. You're doing so much damage that like a hex tech revolver wouldn't be a bad idea. And now you're at 20 stacks, so this is just a raffle stomp. 26 minutes in with 450 AP. Good stun on the Udyr. He just like rage parlayed a minion. I think you could have got. You might have been able to get your Q off because it looked like it just came off cooldown. I don't know. It's hard to say. So you've done just like really reckless, careless plays that are really honestly letting the other team back into the game. Like, you're so fed, you just don't care, and that's fine. But like, your team is really far behind compared to you.
Your turret has been destroyed.
But yeah, you're just doing like really aggressive, silly things that you're getting away with because you're so far ahead. But some of them are costing your team. Like, you guys should have won by now, like easy. Like a 17-2 Anivia with 20 stacks should just win the game for your team. Like, doing stuff like that, like, you're only getting away with that because you're so far ahead. There's no reason you should be able to just walk into 3 people's and maybe you can kill one. But no, you got egged.
An enemy has been slain.
So, I mean, as you can see, like, the rest of your team is struggling here. And not doing nearly as much damage as you are, but you still should be able to win the game for your team. I'm just going to fast forward through here. Like, Anivia with blues clears waves really fast, so you're really strong at pushing. I think you should have gone Sork Shoes instead of the boots Lucid, but they're probably going to get heavy MR because of you. So it's probably not a bad idea to just skip the Sork Shoes and end up going by itself. That's okay. Kog'Maw's doing a good job of putting a lot of pressure, so while they're committing a lot of resources made, Kog'Maw's is just going to go ahead and go pot. Just a really good idea. This is really aggressive of you and silly. Like, you don't have egg, so this is very, very silly. Coming to get that turret, and he still looks like he still has free range with a huge minion wave, so he's easily going to get this turret, and he might even get a hit. I don't know, actually, I guess he didn't get that turret. Didn't see how much life it had left, but I don't know what the Giant's belt is for. Like, Rylai's is totally unnecessary for Anivia. You have so much slow already. It would not get... Oh, you're getting Warmogs. Which is fine. I mean, you're pretty much, like, you can do whatever you want. Like, you don't need any more items. 535 AP Anivia at 30 minutes in the game is plenty. You're still gonna, like, one-shot their entire team, so... It's very silly of that Kate to go that aggressive on you. But like, your team should just be pushing constantly. Like, your team, when you have blue buff with Anivia, that's when your team needs to be coordinated and aggressive, and you need to push as a team. Because blue buff Anivia clears waves really fast and makes it really easy to push. So you should be like rallying your team right now and being like, oh hey, let's push. But you're so far ahead, like, it doesn't matter. So, right there's a standard play with Anivia, mechanically, so I can talk a little bit about, like, how to play Anivia mechanically. So, you wall them off, and then, when you wall them off, you're gonna force them to go one way on the wall or the other. And you throw your Q at the, like, exit of the wall where they're headed to. And then they're forced to either, like, sit there and wait for the Q to go past them, which gives your whole team time to catch them, or they just run into the Q and get stuck. And so that's very standard in Anivia play, and that's how you use the wall effectively. You wall them off, and then throw your Q at the end of the wall that they're running. The other, like, standard Anivia mechanics that you'll see Moosenheim is doing is he'll occasionally cast his E, so Frostbite, if the target is shielded, they take double damage. So that's the key part of Frostbite, and that's what makes Anivia hit so hard. So what you'll see Moosenheim doing is he'll throw his E, his frostbite, and while it's in the air, he'll drop his ultimate below them. Now, the ultimate is the pool of ice on the ground, that thing, and the ultimate chills them, so it gives the double damage to the frostbite. So he'll throw the E, and while it's in the air, lay the R down on the ground. And what that does is it's just a faster way of getting that burst damage off, and it's really hard to avoid. And fun fact, a long time ago, Anivia's ult cost very little to activate, so she could spam E to R really often in lane. She would just E and RU all day once she hit level 6. But Riot nerfed that by giving her ult a higher activation cost but a lower per second cost. So Anivia used to be even more annoying. You don't see many Anivias nowadays, and I think the reason you don't see many Anivias is because she's a very she takes a lot of skill to play effectively. She's a very difficult champion to play, and the payoff isn't that great. Like a good Anivia, does a lot of damage, but it's not significantly more damage than like a Brand or an Annie or anything else that's a lot easier to play. Poor Fizz almost died to the Baron because the guys all left him. One thing as a Anivia, when you're not with your team anywhere here, your team is fighting without you, and now it's gonna be like you versus the world, which you're probably gonna win. But you should have been with your team there. And another thing is when you're Anivia and you're doing Baron and they come to try to contest or poke you off, it's very effective to wall them off. You can drop a wall. Hold on, let me unlock the camera. You can drop a wall. If they come from here, try to poke Baron, you wall off right here, and they're forced to fight you. That's something that's very effective you can do with Anivia. Obviously, the enemy team has lots of magic resist, which makes sense to get when you're against a 21 and 2 Anivia. So it's pretty ridiculous that this game's lasting 40 minutes when you're this fed, and it's just comes from you doing silly things where you just die for no reason, and that's fine, but it's pretty silly. I would recommend if you submit a replay in the future, submit a replay where you didn't go 21 and 2, because I feel like there's not very much to say when you are this fed, because you can just do whatever you want and not die 2v1 people at 300 HP. So there's the game. So thanks for watching. My viewers today, thanks for watching. For anyone watching that's interested in submitting a replay, I'd really recommend that you submit a replay of a game where you lost or in general had a hard time. Replays like the one we just watched are really not that helpful of a learning experience because you're so far ahead you can just do silly things. And yeah, so I'm gonna end the recording here, but thanks for watching the VOD. Please check out my website at rockalakalili.com. Join me in IRC. Come hang out with me. I'm around all day in IRC. I'll periodically check it and get back to people if you guys have any questions or anything. I'm gonna go for now. I will be streaming again at 11 in the morning tomorrow.